Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy traded barbs with his predecessor Pete Buttigieg over the shortage of air traffic controllers and other flight issues.
It all started with a lengthy Truth Social post from President Trump on Monday. He wrote in part, "All air traffic controllers must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked for those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax. I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. For those that did nothing but complain and took time off, even though everyone knew they'd be paid in full shortly in the future, I am not happy with you. You didn't step up to help the USA against the fake Democrat attack that was only meant to hurt our country." Buttigieg hit back, writing on X, "The president wouldn't last 5 minutes as an air traffic controller, and everything they've been through and the way this administration has treated them since day one, he has no business, expletive on them now." Duffy then responded to Buttigieg, writing, "Give me a break. You were basically AWOL at the Department of Transportation. I spent my whole day dealing with your neglect and cleaning up your messes. Sit this one out." Trump then also invoked Buttigieg's name during an Oval Office presser this week. Here's the president's response to a reporter asking him if air travel will go back to normal after the shutdown.
It'll be much better than normal because we're buying the most sophisticated avionics and, technology for our control towers. And we didn't have that. We had a guy named Buttigieg. Edge, they say is the best way. Just say two edges, like off the edge of a cliff, which is where they were taking us, by the way.
And here was Buttigieg's response to that.
Now, other than mostly pronouncing my name right, everything he said was wrong. He told a story about what's going on with air traffic control, which was both false and confusing. He just made a bunch of up about air traffic control. This is a system that was in pretty rough shape by the time he lost in 2020 and we took it over. So we improved it, including launching a long-term communications fix that is still underway that he is now passing off as his idea. And thanks to our work, this year he became the first president in decades to inherit an air traffic control workforce that was actually growing instead of shrinking.
I mean, I'm not, as you know, the biggest Pete Buttigieg fan in the world.
Nor am I.
No, there's some elements of him that I find sort of slightly irksome, and I'm never quite sure exactly what he believes, although I think he's a very good TV communicator in particular. But, I mean, I would bet quite a lot of money that his account of what happened is probably more accurate than Trump's, given Trump's propensity to give very misleading accounts of things.
Wasn't there a big air traffic control related collapse during Buttigieg's time in charge? Wasn't that a holiday? Or not specifically air traffic controls. Do you know what I'm
There
saying?
There were disruptions
Massive
during some holiday.
He presided over, so I don't think he should be championing his record.
But isn't his point that the thing was in what he termed rough shape when he started off and he was trying to improve it? I mean,
maybe.
Trump, I mean, we probably don't want to divert completely into the weeds of technicalities over air traffic control, but Trump's propensity, I mean, we were just talking about it yesterday on another topic about SNAP benefits, where he just says some combination of complete nonsense and hyperbole and gets around it that way. I suspect Buttigieg is telling the truth on that point.
I don't think, look, they should all get back pay, and that's fine. I doubt anybody's going to get a $10,000 bonus. That sounds kind of expensive too for doing your job. Is not something I'd be inclined to give out personally. But
probably
if people left their job, I would fire and replace them. And that's what I would do. But
there are so many instances where it's hard to tell whether Trump is actively proposing a real thing or just shooting his mouth off.
Well, he wants to give $2,000 checks to everybody because stop trying to bribe everyone. Just have better policies.
And he wants on healthcare in this kind of unspecified way to give billions of dollars to the people rather than health insurance companies, which in broad strokes I don't really disagree with. But it's like, how exactly is he going to do that?
I have a hard time adjudicating or evaluating. I'm using the word adjudicate a lot today. Evaluating. Let's try that one out.
Okay.
How dysfunctional or how doomed or overburdened the air traffic control system is, because I feel like we're constantly consuming news stories saying it's about to collapse, it's calamitous, they're overworked, they're stressed out, we need more of them, planes are going to start falling out of the sky any minute. On the other hand, they never do. Planes don't, like the number of air fatalities in like my lifetime or in the last 20 years is so low. I mean, there's 50,000 car deaths every year. There's like 0 plane deaths. They almost never crash. They virtually never crash. There's been a door has fallen off and somebody's gotten sucked out like a couple times, which is very bad. But we're 5 deaths versus 50,000 a year.
Yeah.
But maybe it's all about to go. I mean, one serious plane crash would be the end of.
Well, I mean, I'm literally just thinking to that point because there was the crash here in D.C.
Of course, helicopter flew into them.
And was that pilot error, or was that
pilot error?
Okay.
It was the helicopter pilot's error. I mean, it was almost a kind of reasonable error because this lane specifically, where the planes and the helicopters fly so close to
each other,
is very bad and very dangerous, and it's a difficult maneuver to operate. But I read an exhaustive New York Times story on it that the helicopter pilot was warned and was it. I'm not saying, oh yeah, I could have flown that helicopter. Like, it's a complicated and difficult maneuver, and you have to. It's hard to tell because the lights of the city, and then but the water itself is not lit up, and they use whether you use the like night vision goggles is a very. The night vision goggles can in some ways make it worse, and you can just like there could be a light right next to you, and you think that's just the light of the city, but it was the light of the plane. That this person drove into. But it was not an air traffic control problem.
I mean, I just don't think it inspires very much confidence when you have Duffy and Buttigieg and Trump all in this sort of slanging match. I was going to use some other term there, but we're not allowed to use it. Slanging match between each other, kind of hurling insults and trying to figure
partisan, out. The Democratic one says Republicans are doing a terrible job. The Republican one say, no, it's just the Democrats who did it. It's just kind of a cable news partisan fighting. We're not arriving at greater truth that way.
No, it just becomes more of a mess, I think.
Yes. The author of The Handmaid's Tale raised some eyebrows by saying that she gets attacked by the left more than the right. We'll be right back after that.